Okay, apparently these twin cam bikes have a problem with the PCB, or they can. I've cleaned it out and it's been a little bit better, but it did it once in like a week and a half, 2 weeks of riding the thing. It did it once, getting off the freeway. The idle air controller gets dirty. On top of these rocker boxes, there's little filters. And after I clean this out, I'll take the phone off the tripod and actually point it out before putting it back together. But it routes crankcase pressure, which is down here. You think it would just be vented here, would be the smart thing to do, but manufacturers can't do that. Works up here, and they got these two bolts that mount onto each head. Well, these are breather screws. They come in, and it redirects gases, engine gases, into the intake. And that's why they say to only run the oil like 3/4 of the way full. It's because if you overfill it, the oil gets down lines, it'll push oil up in there, and it'll flood those filters. And they do get clogged over time. They do make a bypass, which if this starts acting up, if I have to do this more than like once a year, or, you know, I'm probably going to install a bypass on it. Probably just put a brand new air controller. They're like $60 with a bypass system, run a filter somewhere on the bike. You know, I'll figure it out, but we'll see. But all you really need to do this is a big Phillips screwdriver. We're going to use a rag just to cover the engine, to cover the electrical cleaner. Keep it off the exhaust. It likes to pool. It's not electric cleaner, it's carb cleaner, but right there. But all you need is a big Phillips screwdriver and a Torx bit. I don't remember the actual Torx bit offhand, the actual size. These, I'll tell you when I figure it out. God, these things are like a bitch though. Like right there we go. It's like, but you make that any harder to remove. There we go. And then you got these rubber things on your filters that like to come loose and move around, which this one, it doesn't really do anything. All it really does is it goes against your cover and it keeps it from rattling. But it's just, I don't know. You see this a lot on these types of things. Usually this one's still stuck there pretty good, but it moved. You can usually move them back and they come loose and re-stick them. They usually stay. I think it's a T27. I believe it's a T27. It is. It's a T27. I like to do, make sure you get them in there good. Just break them loose with the short end. Always make sure it's in there all the way. And then work them out with the long end. Leaving the top one in for last, and there is a little Harley emblem on there because this is offset, so it can only go on one way, which is stupid because it's round and it shouldn't matter. But if you can't remember, the Harley emblem is right side up. And you have a better, much higher quality rubber on that end, which that rubber gasket matters. I'll show you more in a second, but here's the little redirectors, little rubber things that redirect all that crap into the throttle, and it gets dirty. There's a little hole up here, which I'll show you in a minute afterwards, where the idle air controller, that's the bypass. I've only got so much carb cleaner. I got more supposed to be showing up today. I had to order a chain luber, a cable luber for the other two bikes. Careful not to blow that tube off into the, and it's fuel injected, so doing that's not going to hurt anything. Alright, there's nothing dirty coming out. But, because I cleaned it once already, we are going to get this stuff off the bike because it's going to vibrate. Making sure not to burn myself on the exhaust, we are going to fire this up and we're going to close and fire it. We're not moving. It should be safe. It's safe to run it without the little gasket there, but that doesn't really matter. Should be safe to run it without the air filter, just to do this. And these little spray nozzles kind of suck. They're needed to do this though. Clean that out, Jesus. All right. It's gonna get loud and gassy in here. It is in neutral. Because I sprayed cleaner in there, it's gonna take a second to start. I did not expect it to die that easy. Trick is to spray a little bit in there. That'll force it to move and it'll help clean it out. Surprised it's dying though. Yeah, it's getting through there. That little bit really should not be enough to make it die. But I'm gonna clean it out good. Because the idle controller is actually working. It's just that backside of the throttle plates. Yeah, look at that. We got a little bit of a car cleaner in there. But the way this works is it comes through these bolts that mount and it blows in there. And I don't know if you can see that. There it is, that little hole, that plastic thing with a metal plate. That's your idle air controller. It just, all it does is there's a little hole there that bypasses the butterfly, and either the plunger is a stepper motor. It just goes doot, 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 like that. Running down the highway, it's closed, and then when it drops down to idle, it opens a little bit to let air by for idle, and it opens more. The higher the idle, the more closed it is, the lower the idle. That's all. That's how it works. I'm gonna have to go see what the hell all that noise is here once I get this. There we go. Let's start. Probably the neighborhood's pressure washer, I guess. It's a local neighborhood dipshit with a street sweeper. They tar pitched, brand new chunk of road out front. That road is a year old as of like today, and they tar pitched it, Pete Rock, which sucks. So I gotta ride these down, because I've ridden this bike to work every day for like the last week and a half, except for yesterday. I actually have shingles right now, believe it or not, on my back. It sucks. It's just that I'm one of the lucky few people that it's not debilitating. Maybe it's because I'm not 50 yet. It could get worse. I'm on medication, which reminds me it's about noon. I'm gonna have to take another one. because I've been riding the bike because sitting in the car hurts. But it's a good idea to hand do these in. But you want it snug enough they're not going to come out, because those are what holds this on. The filter comes off. This, this bolts to the filter. And the easiest way to do this, I found, is to just kind of meander it till you feel it. There we go. There we go. And she's back together. So I'll fire her back up quick with the filter on. It's an air-cooled bike, so I won't leave it run forever. That's all it takes. It should be cleared out. Now I just gotta back this out, pull it in where it was parked without burning the shit out of myself. Turns out the voice I heard outside was the UPS guy dropping off the lube stuff for the bikes. So must have heard the bike running in the garage. Oh, I did it again. Hit my ankle on the floorboard, putting the kickstand out. There we are. It starts doing it again here. I'll know that I have to just I'll just put a bypass in. Next summer, maybe. You can install an entire bypass, PCB bypass. You just put banjo bolts. They're designed behind the throttle body housing. It moves the air cleaner out about that far, and instead of venting it to the intake, it vents it to a hose. You just run like a braided line down to a little filter, like on this bike. Where is it? You see that filter right there under the kickstand? Right here? That's what that is. It's a crankcase vent. Although it goes down there. That's what that is. That's a crankcase vent. Basically, what we're going to do is, I need to do the oil on this. I need to wash this. Might do it tomorrow if it's nice. I might take the bikes outside. It's got a little bit of residue. I haven't really scrubbed it good this week. But that's a 69. It's a 2007. But you're basically doing the same thing. It's just that the stock galleys, or whatever you want to call them, are still in the rocker boxes. And you can't just cap those. You have to vent it through the stock, but it just redirects it to a vent. And I've looked into it. It's not hard to do. If I have to, I have to. Hopefully that solves the problem. When I first sprayed it out, it got way better. I've been riding it for 2 weeks and did it once. And the way I know that's what it is because this is exactly the same as a car. When it acts up, you know it's about to act up possibly. It starts to go, it cackles way more on deceleration, because that means the mixture's a little off. I think rich makes it cackle more, but if it's not opening, that would make it lean. So maybe fuck if I know, right? Maybe it is, maybe it is lean. I'll have to look that up. It's been forever since I had to know that. But you'll know. You'd be like, wait a minute. If it does, you restart it, it'll either idle a little high or a little too low, and then it'll equalize. It's that idle air controller solenoid. It's a stepper motor. When the idle changes, that's what's doing it, is the idle air controller. Like you fire it up and it's like whoa, 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 whoa. Or you fire it back up after it stalls and it's bloop, 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 and then it goes normal. That's the stepper motor. That's what it is. That's how I know. On a bike like this, that isn't the case. It is an old school carburetor. Carburetors are different than fuel injection. They just are. The way the Venturi effect works, that can cause that racing and then the slow drop. That's just a thing with carburetors. Fuel injected bikes, that's not a thing. That's the bike, that's the computer or the idle air controller, the IAC, doing that. There's no Venturi carburetor effect on these at all. That is the bike making it do that. So that's the difference. Meanwhile, this is fuel injected, first year fuel injected, and there's no idle air controller. This has a few sensors. It just has a throttle stop. That's why this bike has never had any issues, because it's so simple. This has a MAF sensor. It has everything a car does. So, it means there's more to fuck up. Awesome bike. Love the bike. Turns out these are... this is something that happens all twin cams can do, right? It happens with all twin cams, so... when they get older... But just something to think about. It's something they do. You got to clean them out from time to time, apparently. So that should fix the problem. If it doesn't, next, if it still starts acting up again, gets annoying, I'll replace those filters, put a new IAC in there just for good measure. They're not very expensive, and put a bypass in. Oh, the problem is that, though, you have to remove the tank, and I don't want to do that. So, but we'll see. Before we go, you see what's in the garage, right? When I tell you sport bikes are faster than Harleys, it's not my opinion. It's experience. Still like these bikes better, though. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully that helped, but there's other videos out there already telling you all this, so...